Hello, my friend. Power and authority are two concepts that are often used interchangeably, but in reality, they are quite distinct. Understanding the difference between power and authority is essential, not only in the context of leadership and management, but also in everyday life, as we navigate relationships at work, in our communities, and even within our families. So, what exactly distinguishes power from authority, and why does it matter? Let's begin by defining each term. Power is the ability or capacity to influence the behavior of others, to make things happen, or to direct the course of events. It is a broad concept, encompassing any means by which someone can affect another's actions, whether by persuasion, coercion, expertise, or control of resources. Power does not necessarily come from a formal position or title. It can be exercised by anyone, at any time, in any place, as long as they have the means to influence others. Authority, on the other hand, is a specific type of power that is formally granted or recognized by a system, organization, or society. Authority is the legitimate right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. It is often tied to a specific role or position, such as a manager in a company, a police officer in a community, or a teacher in a classroom. Authority is institutional. It is power that is sanctioned, structured, and regulated by the rules and norms of the group or society. The key difference, then, lies in legitimacy and source. Power can come from many sources: knowledge, charisma, control of information, access to resources, or even the ability to inspire fear. Authority, by contrast, comes specifically from a recognized position within a formal structure. A person with authority is not just able to influence others. They are expected and allowed to do so, according to the norms and rules of the system. To illustrate the difference, imagine a workplace scenario. A company's CEO has both power and authority. They have the formal right to make strategic decisions, assign tasks, and allocate resources. Their authority comes from their position at the top of the organizational hierarchy. At the same time, they also wield power. Their decisions can significantly impact the company's direction, and their influence may extend even beyond the organization, affecting partners, clients, and the broader industry. Now consider an experienced employee who does not hold a formal leadership role, but who is highly respected by their colleagues for their expertise and ability to solve problems. This individual may have substantial power. They can influence team decisions, mentor others, and sway opinions, but they do not have formal authority. Their influence is informal, based on respect, trust, and competence, rather than an official title. Alternatively, think about someone who has authority on paper, a newly appointed manager, for example, but who lacks the trust or respect of their team. While they have the formal right to give orders, their actual power may be limited if others are reluctant to follow their lead. In this way, authority without power may be ineffective, just as power without authority can be unstable or even disruptive. Another important distinction is how power and authority are maintained and challenged. Power can be won or lost rapidly. It can be taken by force, gained through persuasion, or lost when others withdraw their support. Authority, in contrast, is more stable but also more constrained. It depends on the continued recognition of legitimacy by the organization or society. If a leader oversteps their authority or acts in ways that are not sanctioned by the system, they risk losing their position, and with it, their authority. Let's look at some historical examples. Consider the civil rights movement in the United States. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. did not have formal authority within the government or the legal system. However, through their vision, rhetoric, and ability to mobilize people, they exercised tremendous power that challenged the existing authority structures and ultimately led to significant social change. Their power was rooted in moral authority, charisma, and the ability to inspire collective action. On the other hand, a police officer has authority granted by the state. They have the legal right to enforce laws and maintain order. Their authority is recognized by the community and protected by specific rules and procedures. When they act within the bounds of their role, their authority is legitimate. But if they abuse their power, they can lose that authority, as society withdraws its recognition of their right to act. Understanding the interplay between power and authority is also crucial in the world of politics. Elected leaders have authority derived from the law and the electoral process. However, their power depends on their ability to persuade, negotiate, and maintain public support. A president or prime minister may have the authority to sign laws or command military forces, but if they lose the confidence of the legislature or the people, their practical power can be severely diminished. In organizations, leaders need both power and authority to be effective. Authority gives them the formal right to lead, but power, particularly the power that comes from expertise, relationships, and personal integrity, enables them to inspire, motivate, and drive change. The most successful leaders are those who understand how to balance and integrate both. It's also worth noting that power is not inherently good or bad. It is simply the capacity to influence. It can be used constructively to achieve goals and solve problems, or destructively to manipulate, exploit, or oppress. Authority, too, can be exercised wisely or abused. The legitimacy that comes with authority is a double-edged sword. It grants the right to act, but also carries the responsibility to act ethically and in the best interests of the group or society. In everyday life, recognizing the difference between power and authority can help us navigate relationships more effectively. Whether you are a team member seeking to influence a project, a parent guiding your children, or a community member advocating for change, understanding the dynamics at play can make you a more effective communicator and leader. In summary, power is the broader concept, the raw ability to influence others and shape outcomes, regardless of formal position. Authority is a specific kind of power, legitimized by an organization or society tied to a recognized role and governed by rules and expectations. The two often overlap, but they are not the same. Effective leadership, positive social change, and healthy organizations depend on understanding and balancing both. By appreciating this distinction, we are better equipped to analyze the structures around us, to recognize the sources of influence, and to act with purpose and integrity, whether we are leading, following, or working together to build something greater than ourselves.